This is the Xbox Games Showcase pre-chat rumors discussion thing for 2024. Once again, we have our illustrious cast together, including Mitchell, which is over that way. So to my left, facing the video thing, and then Kevin is at the bottom there as the illustrious, mysterious man. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing's great as well. And we do this each year, so I guess you can progressively see us getting older and Kevin more mysterious. That's what we actually should have done for Kevin's profile picture. Is every year we should make him look like slightly like we should add like a weird comical hat or like a monocle or something. I never thought about that. That would have actually been pretty funny. Yeah.
A beard that keeps growing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's kind of like because you can see that Mitchell and I get older, and then Kevin with his mysteriousness. Because we want to reveal Kevin when he dies. So we gotta milk the views. It's just how it goes. So we've broken this chat down, and I hope all the audio levels are good. I'm assuming they are. I'm just assuming I'm good at my job. What can I say? We're gonna break it down as per usual. What to expect when you're expecting. Might see and won't see is the categories of today's Jeopardy list. So we're gonna start with the obvious thing here, and I can't see the chat at all, so I don't know what people are saying. We're just gonna ignore everybody anyways. We're just talking today. So first up, we have the Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War Direct. So I mean, they've shown it's like a Call of Duty thing where it's sort of, well, I mean, we don't know it's Call of Duty, but we all know it's Call of Duty as like the direct thing, and they did that with Starfield. So it'll probably be like an hour showing the campaign after the stream is done. And this is the return of Call of Duty to the Xbox Game Showcase. The last time they had COD was Advanced Warfare E3,
Yes.
or was it Ghosts?
I'm pretty sure it was Advanced Warfare.
So Kevin Spacey was the last time that Xbox had Call of Duty on the stage, so this is a big change. Did they actually bring Kevin Spacey out back in the day? Does anyone remember that?
Remember.
Yeah.
Shows how
Okay.
long ago that was that you would want Kevin Spacey out there.
Let's bring him back.
No, like I literally think that was a thing back in the day, right? Like they had, because he was a big draw back then. He was doing House of Cards and stuff or whatever, and
Yeah, he's a
yeah,
little famous.
yeah, he was a little famous back then. Okay, so I guess Mitchell, you can start this off. What are your thoughts on the Gulf War?
Call of Duty is like taxes. It's every year. Um, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Gulf War. Like I know that we're not officially saying it's Gulf War, but we're all pretty sure it's going to be Gulf War. I can't see it being very different. I'm sure it'll be connected to Black Ops in some way. I'm personally just waiting for the Black Ops series to get so far forward that it becomes Call of Duty Black Ops Modern Warfare because it just keeps progressing forward in time. Honestly, the only thing that I really want to see from this game though is just a little bit of an overhaul of the guns. Give us something a little bit new. Give us something a little more balanced because that's been an ongoing issue with the last few comics.
All right, Kevin, you're up.
I think it's kind of funny that the '90s now are a total throwback for gaming. That which is kind of funny. But Gulf War, that should be really neat. It kind of not really a covered time in games, so you could do a lot of really interesting stuff. It would be kind of neat to see how a campaign goes. That could be really fun, especially if you do like the edgy, oh, what are we doing here type storyline. Like, I don't know. I think it actually, I'm quite excited for this one. If they nailed it, it's funny because it's Call of Duty, same thing over and over. Everybody jokes. Multiplayer probably wouldn't be much different, but I don't know. It could be really fun.
All right, well, this is actually a special COD too because it'll be the first debuting with Game Pass, which is exciting. So we don't have to buy it. Although we may end up with a different tier of Game Pass because of it, where you have to pay more. But whatever. We'll see what happens there. This is also the first COD that's had a 4-year dev cycle in its history, and apparently we're getting 2 years of Black Ops back to back. So I hope this is good because I haven't enjoyed a Black Ops game in I think a decade. When did Black Ops 2 come out? 2012?
Yeah, it would have been
Yeah.
2012.
Yeah, I haven't liked a Black Ops game since 2, and that was 12 years ago, so we'll see how it goes. A little scared, a little worried. And then the next one is Call of Duty on Game Pass. I was expecting it to be in the spring. I don't know what they're doing. Like, apparently they don't even know what they're doing with that. So I'm assuming the game showcase is they're going to give us, like, a date when Game Pass drops for COD happen. I guess we'll just do a brief kind of thing talking about, you guys, if you're excited for Game Pass. Kevin, you're up first.
Yeah, I'm excited for Game Pass. I was talking with you, like, I think it was last week about, hey, maybe I should get back into COD. Maybe it's been long enough. I was going to try to get Modern Warfare 3. And then we were joking that, well, why not just wait for it to go on Game Pass? And I've kind of, yeah, I've stuck to that ever since. And I don't know, you brought up a neat question for like myself too, of would I play Call of Duty more if it was on Game Pass? And after some deep thought, I think yes, and it would be really interesting. Plus, for Game Pass, if they brought all the CODs back, I think my biggest hype would be to go play the older CODs, maybe get some World at War lobbies. It should, yeah, it should be an exciting time. Game Pass, Call of Duty, it should be something to rejoice about.
Mm-hmm. Mitchell?
I'm in the same boat as Kevin. Honestly, like it's still an exciting time, and he put it into the words really well. I'm not a big fan of this possibility of tier systems, and like a quad tier is one of the rumors I've seen going around. But like, I still am a fan of Game Pass. Yeah, I pay enough for like on top of every other streaming service and every other subscriber thing. I'm running out of money over here.
Well, that's the economics in Canada and the world in the modern era. You gotta keep spending. Okay, next up we got Starfield Shattered Space expansion. So this is the big expansion to Starfield. I am assuming that this is going to be kind of like, previous DLCs for their games, like Far Harbor, or like a big chunky expansion. Should be something to look forward to. They just did their big Starfield update, which was actually really good. I don't know if you guys played it, but
Yeah,
does
very big fan.
4K, 120 FPS. Well, I guess it's more like 1440, like upscaled. Anyways, I did a video on it. But like it runs at like up to 120 FPS now and stuff, and it's like really smooth and nice. And anyways, yeah, I think Mitchell gets to go first on this one now. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, no, you know what? I'm a big fan of Starfield. I'm currently going actually through my second playthrough of it slowly, very slowly. I don't have a lot of time for it, but um, like I'm excited for Shattered Space. I think it's just gonna be good. We know very little about it, unfortunately, but history does show that Bethesda, even if they put out subpar games to begin with, they do tend to support the games long term, and their expansions do tend to be pretty good. So I'm just hoping for that right now.
All right, Kevin, Starfield and Beyond.
It would be a neat excuse for me to go back to it. I was one of the guys that like I like Starfield and I put a lot of time into it. I actually went through and beat the storyline, which for myself, I don't play a lot of single player games the whole way through. So it says something about Starfield to me. It was fun, but I haven't picked it up since. So I don't know, a big expansion or story to do. Like, yeah, it could be a good excuse to go back to it for me.
Yeah, you gotta sink your teeth into that one. I still think, I don't know if you did the quest there, Kevin. I still think you'd love the historical figures quest. I think
Yeah,
I,
I haven't done
yeah.
that one yet. Might have to check it out.
And we move on to the next one, Forza Horizon 6. So they used to do them every 2 years. It's been 3 years now, believe it or not. Although the landscapes of Mexico continue to expand with updates all the time. I think we're about due for another Forza Horizon this year. We had Motorsport last year. Makes sense to follow up with another Horizon game. Kevin, Forza Horizon 6, where's it going to take place?
Oh, where's it going to take place? Unannounced. Italy. Easy. There you go.
Well, to be fair, they did do Italy in 2.
Oh, there you go. Well, then I no, I'm sticking to my answer.
They're bringing it
They need the
back.
callback. Yeah, bring it back.
Yeah. Mitchell?
We're going to Turkey. That's where we're going.
To
We're gonna
Turkey.
go. Yep, we're gonna go to Turkey. The beautiful landscape. it can support some motorsport racing, so we're a-okay.
I've always wanted them to tackle Canada. I think we'd have a lot of distinct biomes and weathering that you could do in a New Horizon game. A lot of people
Isn't
always want
one of
Japan. Huh?
isn't one of the things about the motorsport game, and now I could be wrong about this, but isn't one of the things about the motorsport series is that it's kind of European exclusive, or has it taken place outside of Europe? Not Horizon. Horizon I know is taking place outside, but
Motorsport? Well, Motorsport came
yeah,
out last year. Motorsport's just tracks.
yeah,
Horizon's like open world, and they do tracks all around the world for Motorsport.
yeah.
But Horizon, they've been to Colorado, the Mediterranean, Australia, Britain, Mexico, and then yeah, everybody always wants it to be in Japan. But anyways, I think we're due for an Horizon, and I think it could very much launch this year. And I mean, I think they kind of got that formula pretty dead on in terms of like it's the same sort of thing every time. So I don't really know what out of the realms of like expectations they could really do for that one. Next up on the chop and block is Fable. Yes, the new Fable. I think we're finally going to get a release date and a little bit more footage. And Fable expectations. Mitchell, you are up.
I love Fable, and you know what? I don't think I can go any different from what I said last year. I'm just hoping to kick chickens around. That's it. That's all I want. All right. If you go back to the video last year, that was my same quote. So, there's nothing to go off of though. The game was announced what now 6 years ago, and we haven't heard anything.
Like, it was like 17. We did get a trailer, like gameplay last year. We did get gameplay, but
True. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it was like 17. I think it was first kind of like rumbled about, talked about. But yeah, new Fable. I'm sure Kevin has even more thoughts on Fable here.
Fable's awesome. It should absolutely be explored more and again. Fable was such a staple of Xbox for me growing up. I loved all the games, and then it's so interesting that you just got a time period there where there was no Fable, and it's gold. Like,
Yeah.
all the more justice to bringing it back, and I love it.
Yeah, I've been missing Fable. Well, they wanted to do Fable 4, and then Xbox kind of forced them to do like a live service Fable. So they did like Fable
Yeah.
Legends, and then Phil Spencer took over and he shuttered Lionhead, and that's kind of why. You know, Fable 4, if you never read into it, there's a great video thing going about it online, but it was going to be Victorian era, and Jack the Ripper was going to be like a Wolverine, and yeah, it would have been pretty cool. You're getting pretty blurry there, Mitchell. Oh, no, you're back. Okay, good. You were blurred out for a second there.
I'm leaning so far back right now.
So anyways, I hope Fable is a lot of like in-depth building on the morality system, the creating of your own hero, and just kind of going on these majestic adventures would be lovely. Gear 6. Rip and tear, Kevin. Gear 6.
I promised myself I would get more into this Gears. There was that little bit there where I never played Gears 4 and 5, and then I went back and did multiplayer with you on Gears 5, and it was incredible. Gears never dies. Yeah, I just absolutely lovely. So when Gears 6 comes out, it's a personal goal of mine to get into it.
Gonna be competitive, high ranking. Kevin's gonna be number one on the leaderboards, guys. He's gonna apply his hockey ranked skills to to the Gears
We
franchise. Mitchell, Gears 6.
You know what? It's the other thing. Like, there's not a lot of information that I know of for Gears 6. I'm excited for it. The multiplayer has always been good. I never played a lot of Gears 4, which you know, but I did play a fair amount of Gears 5, and I liked the multiplayer. I enjoyed the campaign. I'm excited to see what happens going forward with the campaign. And as you know, I'm more of a single player guy than a multiplayer guy in general. So I just want to see. My only thing I'm hoping for is I don't want them to be killing off loved characters just for the show of it. You know, like retire a character, like. And spoilers, it's like it's okay that we have some death in it, like Dom dying 12 years ago is fair enough, but um, let's not kill off Marcus. Let's not kill off the rest of them, you know. So even though it's kind of leaning that way.
Well, you gotta have at least one more Coltrane dies fake out, and then I do. I think the series ultimately ends with Marcus Phoenix dying, though.
Yeah,
I
which I
just
mean, I would say the same for Halo in all honesty, but
Master
um, it, I don't know. I hate franchises
Chief
that
never
kill off beloved
dies.
characters, right? Why kill off your favorite beloved characters when you have a literal bucket of Carmines right there to kill off? So
I thought the bloodline ended, didn't it? Oh no, Clayton's still isn't Clayton still
yeah,
around? Yeah.
there's still one around.
Isn't there like Gary Carmine or something? I don't know, but I hope Gears is kind of a big deal. I hope it's really well put together. I'm expecting. I think that's something we're actually missing from our chat right now is like when we're expecting this stuff and everything like that. Well, I guess this is what to expect. Never mind. We don't have to go over that. We're this is the what to expect category. Duh. Yeah, no, Gears 6. I think it might actually be out this year
Yeah.
or in the spring 2025. I don't see them putting it to die in fall 2025 because Battlefield and Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto 6 will absolutely smash Gears, and no one will play it if it comes out at that time. Big campaign, big visuals. It's supposed to be a UE5 showcase, Unreal Engine 5 showcase, so I hope they deliver on that for that game. I hope it's just technically groundbreaking and looks amazing because some UE5 games are really, really technically demanding, and some UE5 games are pretty amazing. We've got Avowed. So I think we're all pretty excited about Avowed. Yeah, I think Mitchell's up first this time, right?
Am I first? Yeah, I think I am. Yeah. I'm pretty pumped for About. As more and more information comes out, it's cool. Like I like the idea. I like the idea. It's like, oh, you're this person part of I forget what it's called, the Adri Empire. You're investigating a mysterious plague. It's like, okay, I can kind of get behind this plot. There's a lot that you can build off of that. I love Obsidian. I love Obsidian. And my only concern is we got to make sure that this is this game has to be good because I think Obsidian would be one of the next companies on the chopping block in the next couple of years if Avowed is not good. So
Obsidian's the only one putting out games for Microsoft.
I know that's the thing. You think Microsoft makes good business decisions?
No. Well, I mean, for Microsoft, yes. For Xbox, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Well, I mean, Microsoft is what the first or second biggest company in the world right now.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say Xbox more specifically. Kevin, Avowed.
Vowed. Obsidian's making it, so that's really cool. I think we've talked about this even before, but I always go back to Oblivion, which is such a golden gem of the Elder Scrolls series. It has Obsidian written all over it. So I think it's really neat to go back to like a role playing game, something with that all fantasy style and that it has all the makings for another Obsidian gold mark. It's something really awesome if it's done right. I don't know much about it myself though, but everything I keep looking into it looks really cool. Should be fun.
Yeah. So they showed it off at the Xbox Direct a few months ago, and we talked about that one. And I was like, everybody was hating on the gameplay of it because and what I said was that game will end up being the best game out of the games they showed at that Xbox Direct, but they just literally just had a terrible trailer for it. It should be a lot of fun. It should be really. I think they got some good stuff going on. It looks like the Outer Worlds, but it's fantasy and everything like that. And I think the biggest thing that a lot of people count out for Avowed is that it's based in their Pillars of Eternity universe, which is ridiculously full of depth and lore, and like it is a very, very well crafted world. My only disappointment is apparently there's no romance in it at all. So
Oh, interesting. Didn't know that.
yeah, a little bummed out there's not going to be any sort of romantic things because there's going to be companion characters and stuff, and you're going to be like, it's just like I think for those kind of role playing games, the Bethesda like ones, you almost expect that sort of companionship element now. I don't know, could be off on that one, but we know that's coming this year and everything like that. South of Midnight, which I don't know if you guys really are too familiar with that one, but they showed it last year. And that is from Compulsion, which is a Canadian group. Kevin, you're up first for South of Midnight.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I really don't know much about it. Looking into it, the few images in that I've seen, it looks interesting. I really, yeah, I couldn't say much about it. It's got a really like creepy look to it though. The whole what Seldrin magic and all that it should be interesting.
Little Burton like
Mhm.
Tim Burton. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Mitchell.
I actually forgot about South of Midnight was a thing at all until you sent the list of stuff that we could be discussing possibly today, and I had to sit there and go back and watch the trailer and literally just came back to the same emotions I felt last time, where I was like, wow, I think this is awesome. Like I think this is gonna be a little bit of a boss fighting thing. Like I love the whole I can't remember the word for it, but the cell like that Southern State, Southern Swamp type of feeling. The music, like the blues music, the soft guitar, like I love it. Like I'm very excited, and the style is just the art style is just really pretty. So
Mm. I'm
yeah.
just more looking forward to seeing like gameplay to understand like how we play it. Like I think because it was in-game stuff that they showed last year, but with the trailer, but like they never really showed what is it? Is it like a puzzle game? Is it like a shooter game? Is it like an adventure? Like we don't really
Yeah.
know.
Is it made by the same company that made
We
We
Happy
Happy
Few.
Few?
Yeah,
Yeah, it is okay. And like I did enjoy We Happy Few, so I'm yeah.
there you go. Clockwork Revolution. So this is from In Exile. They make some pretty classic role-playing games if you guys aren't familiar with In Exile. And this one really, to me, screams BioShock. So I hope it's like BioShock, but like steampunk. Uh, Mitchell, you're up on Clockwork.
I was actually thinking the exact same thing as you. This kind of feels like a BioShocky thing, but again, I could see it like it's supposed to be first person, but honestly, I could see us being a little bit of just because there's time traveling stuff involved in it. I could see us having some time stops, some overhead views, stuff like that. I don't know why I feel like that's a possibility, but it does feel like there's going to be a little bit of almost like what happened with Dragon Age or yeah Dragon Age 3, where you could switch between your companions and such. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. There's not a lot of information other than it's bio or it's steampunky and time travel.
Mm. And Kevin, which apparently the chat is telling me that you're missing depth of field.
Ooh, there you go. So I got to go more in depth. That's funny. Uh, okay. No, this one's interesting. I think it's kind of it looks really neat. I think it's funny everybody keeps referencing it to BioShock. Like I wouldn't that be funny if they just advertised it as like, "Hey, buy this game. It's like BioShock." But yeah, I'm never too much on the whole steampunk theme myself, never have been, but like obviously there's the great question of is the game good? And if it's good, I could see it being really huge because I know so many people that love that renaissancey but like almost weird high tech everywhere stuff around. Like it's got all the makings of the theme that you tend to see people like. So we'll see how that one goes.
Yeah, so I'm hoping for Clockwork and South of Midnight that we get like proper gameplay footage this year that kind of tells us like how it like a regular level and everything plays in that game is my biggest goal. We've got Contraband, which is a game that was teased at the start of the generation, like many of the Xbox exclusives that have never come out. Yeah, Contraband. It's from the Just Cause people, and it's supposed to be like a big open world cooperative heisting explosion shooting crazy game, and it keeps getting delayed and it keeps getting pushed back, so I'm assuming we're finally gonna see it. So kind of expectations and hopes for Contraband. I think Kevin's up.
For Contraband, I don't know. Will we ever see this game? I feel like we talk about it all the time.
Yeah, and we haven't seen a
Yeah,
single second of gameplay of it.
exactly. So I don't know. What else could you say other than will we finally see this game? Yeah, yeah.
Ugh. Mitchell?
Contraband was announced so long ago that I had a Mandela effect and thought it was a 360 game. That's how long ago this game was announced. Um, I am not expecting to see it. You know what, I did a lot of searching online and like some of like the Xbox forums and Reddit and just generally online, and like no one's talking about any leaks for it. No one's talking about like, oh, I can expect to see it. No, nobody's saying anything, which usually to me says that we're not going to see it at all. So
Well, I think we're
yeah.
gonna see it this year. I think it's gonna be full
We'll start
gameplay.
if we don't see it this year, then you and I can start a betting pool on what comes first. Elder Scrolls 6 or Contraband.
Oh, okay. That would be a fun one because I
Elder
got
Scrolls 6,
I think I have
Contraband,
Elder
or Redfall
Scrolls
2.
6 peg for 26. I'm 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 decently confident that one's coming along. But this one should have a lot of chatter, I think. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Mitchell, you can do that one first.
uh, you know what? This is my hot take here. I bet you $20 it's going to be time traveling related, and I think that's going to be a little bit of a difficult thing with us, but I do think it's going to be time traveling related. So,
The Great
no,
Circle.
I think that you will be able to play as both old and young Indy, but it will primarily take place as young Indy.
Huh.
But it's supposed to be first person, right?
It is all first person except when you're traveling in the environment. And that's so awkward in video games when you have camera transitions. I was playing
Yeah.
Alone in the Dark from 2008 the other day, and it is so goddamn annoying that because you can pick your camera, you can pick third, you can pick first. But I'm like, okay, this game is all like linear hallways. I want to do first. And as soon as you do any interaction in the world, your character forces out into third person, and then back into first, and then back into third, and then back into, and it's just like kind of like nauseating to see those camera changes.
Big time.
And before we flop it to Kevin, is the Great Circle a good name for this?
No, not even slightly. Not even slightly.
It's
I
kind of
think it's
terrible, isn't it?
but while saying that, you are coming off of a series that literally one of the names is Temple of Doom. That is a very unimaginative name.
It sounds
So
cool though, Temple of Doom.
it's definitely the weakest one out of all of them. It's
The
weaker than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
That kind of sounds cool too. The Dial of Destiny I thought was a little odd sounding, but the
No,
Great Circle. Wow. Yeah.
the Great Circle, I think it just it doesn't listen. The wheel was invented 20,000 years ago. We get it.
All right, Kevin. What about the name and what about the game?
I think circles are incredible. Life is a circle. No, just to mention for the game itself, I just had the thought that if you ended up with some like super high concept, it is time traveling, which I absolutely love that theory, Mitchell. But if in the end you ended up with this huge deep answer to the repetitiveness of life and the cycles of the mistakes we make through history, maybe the Great Circle will be one of the deepest names ever thought of. No, but I don't know. All jokes. Indiana Jones, it's a great series. I think that's weird for first person to third person. I feel like if you're having those camera angles all the time, it should kind of be that you can interchange what you want to play as.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when I think of Indiana Jones, I think of like using your whip to jump across barriers and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's necessarily part of the game. It might be kind of weird first person, but Indiana Jones is fun. You're out exploring. There's mysteries. You can do puzzles. You fight enemies. It should have all the makings of a very interesting game, and you could do so many different things with it that would still fit for what Indiana Jones does. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it.
Hope it's fun, and it comes out this year, so I'm expecting at least a brief look at it. So next up, we have Double Fine's next game. So they've been working on a game since 2018, and we don't know what it is. We don't know what it's like. Like they last did Psychonauts 2, So the fact that they've been working on this one for so long, after like even Psychonauts 2 was completed and released, right, and working at the same time as on this one, I would imagine we're finally going to see what it is, but I have no idea what it's going to be. I don't know. Do you guys want to just kind of jump past this one? I just kind of wanted to mention. I don't know if you guys have deep-seated Double Fine knowledge and
Psychonauts
love.
4.
Hmm?
They're skipping Psychonauts 3 and going straight to Psychonauts 4. That's
That's what
what
we've
it
all
is.
been waiting for. It's going to be an original IP, from what I understand. It's going to be something new and
Cool,
quirky.
yeah.
Okay, The Outer Worlds 2. We saw this one teased a couple of years ago because I guess it was supposed to be Avowed, but there was a mix-up with Microsoft and everything, and so yeah, they teased The Outer Worlds 2. I think it's time we see this one because so Obsidian, they wanted 7 games in 7 years. So if Avowed's coming out this year, I'm assuming that means The Outer Worlds 2 is coming out next year. And it's like Fallout in space. I like The Outer Worlds 1. Is it Mitchell's turn?
Possibly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved Outer Worlds 1. I am also kind of hesitant to say that Outer Worlds 2 is going to be at this showcase. I know that they do the seven games in 7 years, and I think that if they did, it would be a tack on thing at the very end of their announcements. Maybe like a slightly less still humorous, but slightly less joking and a little bit more visual trailer, just something short. But I think most of Obsidian is going to be focused on Avowed right now. So.
Yeah, Kevin. Outer Worlds 2.
Kind of goes with that joke that you made earlier that Obsidian's the only one pumping out games for Xbox. But Outer Worlds 2, yeah, the first one was really good. I remember when that one came out, how it was kind of funny with the first one, that it was supposed to be like the Fallout killer and all that. And I don't know that it ever surpassed that series, in people's minds. At least that's what I remember when it came out. But yeah, the first one was really good. Why shouldn't the second one be awesome? Like, Obsidian makes good games. They're really good at the role playing genre, I think.
Yeah, they've got a great craft. They've got lots of fun, and it's so familiar if you're into like Fallout and like I'd say I would Elder Scrolls, everything like that. They feel like fun companion games where you're sort of like, oh, I'm really really waiting for a new Elder Scrolls. Here's Avowed. Oh, I'm really really waiting for a new Fallout. Here's Outer Worlds.
Yeah. But the first Outer Worlds game it didn't hold up on its own very well. It was a short game. Like I think it's like a 20-hour, maybe 15-hour game.
I finished my first play of it in 6.
Yeah. Well, but you don't tend to focus on a lot of the side stuff, right? Like you tend to
No.
focus on the main story. Yeah, and like for me, I focused on I like to do every single side quest. If I see somebody, it's one of the things in the recent Fallout show, right, where it's thou shalt get sidetracked by useless
Useless side.
Uh,
I think my issue with the Outer Worlds 1 was high charisma checks, so I could just talk through everything. And trying to get a review done in like a day. But I love that game because it doesn't go on forever. Because a lot of people were like, oh, it's too short. And I was just like, no, it was cool. I finished it, and then I played it a second time. And I think I've played it a third time at some point too, since then, through streaming and whatnot. But like, it's nice to have a game that doesn't take forever to play.
Yeah.
It really is. Flight Sim 2024. Kevin, you gonna be flying?
yeah, I might check this one out. I can't wait. When I see Flight Sim, I can't wait for the Sky Captain tours around the world.
I love my
like
touring.
where will he fly next? Like, Flight Sim isn't even so much for me. It's what you'll see on the channel. Like,
That's the Kevin endorsement. Mitchell, are you going on another 10+ hour live flight between between cities?
That flight ended up being 14 hours, and I got the achievement. It was a long flight. No, I have close to 500 hours in Microsoft Flight Sim at this point, and I will probably sit there the same in Microsoft 2024. I really really like that game, so I'm excited for it. I don't know if I'll be able to keep it on the PC like I do for the current Flight Sim. I'll probably have to put it on the Xbox, but still worth it.
I told you it was great.
Yeah.
I just didn't know it would become such a problem for you.
I'm fine with
I don't know. I'm excited because yeah, I get to do my tours and my streams of it, but also it's like they've got the career mode in there in that one. I'm really excited because you could be like a blimp person or
yeah.
the hot air balloons, or it looks fun. This one's a nice fun one here. Kojima's Overdose. I think it's just called OD or Overdose. And what this is supposed to be, I'll do a little bit of setup for it because I think there's going to be a lot of like questions between us, like what this is. But so essentially, this is his cloud project. PlayStation passed on it. Google Stadia was like interested in it, but then they shuttered. And Microsoft said, "Oh, we'll work with Kojima." And it's supposed to be like more than a game. It's supposed to be all cloud driven, and it's like I guess to some degree episodic in its setup, but like how you scream and how other people scream and interact with your experience changes it, and it's supposed to be designed around like streaming and interacting with others. So I don't know really what this is gonna be like, but I'm Kojima always does weird things, so this should be fast. Maybe this will be the first Kojima game that I truly enjoy, and that would be miraculous for me. I think Mitchell is up. Overdose.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of information on it, just basically what I've been Googling essentially. I know that it's like from what I understand, it's like in the same universe as Walking Simulator 2022 or whatever it was, Death Stranding. But I don't know very much about it. Kojima is a phenomenal storyteller, so I'm expecting good things about it, but I genuinely have no idea.
All right, Kevin. Overdose.
Overdose. I just think it'd be funny if the whole game is just like Kojima talking about himself and you overdose on Kojima himself, you know? A joke produced
Yeah.
by Kojima, loved by Kojima, held by Kojima. Um, but I don't know, like what you're describing there. I don't know much about this, and I've never really played a lot of his games. I just always hear what you say about it, Kojima, so I feel like I got like such a like meh rep about it. But I don't know, streaming and all that. Maybe it's super high concept and fun.
Yeah. We'll have to wait
Yeah.
and see. I hope it just doesn't end up like that Silent Hill Ascension. Do you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that still
No.
going?
Are you talking like that? Are you talking the little No, I'm thinking of something else.
No,
I'm
there's
thinking of
like
that little like demo that got released that was like 20-25 minutes long.
no. You're thinking of the short message. Ascension was like this mobile weekly release where you play it 15 minutes each week and everyone in the world interacts at the same time on it. And apparently
Oh,
it was just awful. And I don't know if that's still going or not. I haven't heard anyone talk about it. I think it was supposed to last like 40 weeks or something, and just
wow. Yeah.
I think that one's out of here. Okay, here we go. Here's a fun one. Doom Year 1. So from the Activision Blizzard court case, Doom Year 1 was apparently a game. And apparently we are actually seeing Doom Year 1, Doom Next. And I don't really get this because they finished the storyline for Doom with Doom Eternal there and its DLC expansions. So I don't know what you do. Like maybe like a prequel Doom is the idea here because it's called Doom Year 1, which usually means like he's like a junior Doom guy. I don't know. All I know is Kevin gets to tackle the next Doom.
Doom's awesome, and I agree. Doom Year One, that makes it sound like you could go back, but then I don't know. That'd be kind of fun, you know. They do a backstory for it. Maybe you're a little less powerful running through, and it builds up. Like Doom's an awesome shooter. Heck, it's one of the classics, if not the classic, I believe. Right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mitchell.
Um, I was kind of thinking the exact same thing as you initially, where it's we're expecting it to be a prequel. I think we know that the Doomslayer existed hundreds of thousands of years ago. So and it was the same Doom Slayer. So I would like to see maybe a little bit more story, maybe getting to see some of the other characters, maybe getting to see the old demons. We also know like things that happened that they've kind of touched on in the old war. Like you get to one of the battlegrounds you get to fight in the first Doom game is literally the body of a demon that the Doom Slayer had beaten hundreds of thousands of years ago. So that would be kind of cool to just do that again.
This is gonna be like Far Cry Primal. It's like the Doom Slayer. He's got like a. I'm trying to think. What are those saber? He's got like a saber-toothed tiger that he like hunts with. It's a big game mechanic. You send the saber-tooth to go kill the god things. Freaking hell. Alright, so we're gonna kind of pair some of these for timeliness, just this next little batch here. So I'm assuming we're gonna see the Overwatch 2 update, whatever that is. Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred, because that's coming out this year. The Fallout 76 update, which is the Shoreline, is it called Shoreline or something? I don't know. They're doing an expansion for the Fallout 76 map, so I'm assuming we're gonna see that. And then Elder Scrolls Online, High Road, Gold Road, whatever that road is. I think we'll see those shown. So just kind of a brief thought on any of these 4 games, kind of getting their yearly updates, as to say. Mitchell, yeah.
You know what? The only thing I got going, like I am a big Elder Scrolls person. It's probably one of my favorite game series. I'm looking forward to what happens, but I am not playing it myself anymore. I've kind of fallen off the series. I don't have the time commitment. But anything that Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls Online gets is going to be good. And then Fallout, and then obviously any remasters that we might have coming up. Fallout 3 would always be good. So that's kind of where we're at. I would love to see a remaster of Fallout 3. That is my favorite Fallout game.
Alright, Kevin, you getting excited for the Diablo expansion?
Yeah, Diablo, it's been really good so far. Diablo expansion, why not? I actually put a lot of time into that Diablo game. I know my gal put even more time into that one. So, yeah, Diablo's really fun. Really interesting to see because they did kind of leave the story where they could do a heck of a lot more with it. 76, that game keeps getting better. I saw their updates are really interesting because some are hit, some are miss. Like the whole going back to Pittsburgh, we talked about that before, but like
Bummer.
that one, that was really underwhelming. But I think this one, it's supposed to add like a new chunk of map, right? Like,
Yeah, there's a whole new southern area where it's got like crazy storms and stuff going on, but it's gonna have like quests, and I'm excited.
yeah, it's really cool. So the more they expand on Fallout 76, the better. I even like telling people that when they talk about 76, you should jump into it now. Like it's really good. It's got way more content than when it was released. Elder Scrolls Online, I love that that game never dies. It should just keep going. It's Elder Scrolls is great too. For especially an online game, actually makes me think I kind of want to get back into it a little bit more. It's been a while since I touched that one. And since Mitchell mentioned Fallout 3 remastered, yes, absolutely. Every day of the week, Fallout 3 remastered. Even mentioning the gal, I'd love to tell her that, hey, you just finished Fallout 3. Now here's the remastered version. Go. But yeah, Fallout 3 doesn't get the love, I feel, especially when it's overshadowed by Vegas. But that was a game that probably introduced most people to Fallout, at least, of our age group.
It was one of the first games I ever owned on the Xbox 360. I think it was that and Halo 3 were the first, or and Gears of War were like the first 3 games I ever owned.
And that's awesome.
Well, that was gonna be the next topic, was Fallout 3 we were gonna talk about, but I guess that covers that. The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remake Remaster. So, as far as I understand, it's kind of a switch up here, because these were from the Activision Blizzard case, is like, we get at least one of these this year. So if it's like an Elder Scrolls remaster, that will be this year, and Fallout 3 will be next year. If it's an Oblivion remake, that will be next year, and Fallout 3 remaster will be this year. What do we think about the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remake remaster? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna have? Kevin, what is it?
What's hopefully it's just Oblivion with everything like super ramped up. Oblivion is an absolute great game. And it's so neat to be talking about Oblivion and Fallout 3 in the same time period, because that it really does hit that like master class of 360 games, you know. Oblivion's great. I always felt cheated too. That Skyrim's an incredible game. Like, don't hate me for it, but I almost liked Oblivion better. And it was so sad how it worked out, that with the timeline of how Bethesda was making games, that they kind of stopped pumping out a bunch of new games with Skyrim. So we got Skyrim over and over and over. And I always kind of wished it was Oblivion that got that, because Cyrodiil is a way nicer place to travel. There's so many great characters in it. I think the guild quests are some of the best in the game. The Dark Brotherhood's got to be one of their best guild storylines ever, in Oblivion. So remastering that's incredible. Even Shattering Isles, I believe, with Shale
Mhm.
Gorath and all that, to see that remastered should just be gold. It's a beautiful land, great colors everywhere, lots of cheese, uh, for that reference. But yeah, Elder Scrolls
Circle.
Oblivion, it needs to be done. Yeah, full circle.
Hi, Mitchell. Oblivion.
Oh man, Kevin hit it honestly perfectly on the head with that one. It's such an amazing game, and the only thing I disagree with Kevin on is about I like Skyrim more than I liked Oblivion, but my God, I loved Oblivion. That it's like comparing your two favorite foods and what you like more. Like Oblivion is such an amazing game. It's a phenomenal game. Like I would love to see it come back in some form. Again, Shattering Isles is that's arguably one of the best DLC of all time. The only thing I don't want to see come back is horse armor. We can keep that in the dust. That can stay the hell out.
I was gonna make a joke about that. I was like, do you think they'll give us the horse armor for free? But it's probably not economic, right? We're probably gonna have to pay for that with inflation levels.
Horse armor started an entire trend of crappy DLC and pay to win shit.
That's where we're at now in the modern era. The battle pass, it all started with the horse armor. I can't wait to someday, maybe have kids and be like, let me tell you of how all these microtransactions started. It's all with horse armor. Not even a horse, just armor.
If you
I
had to
think
like, like, oh sorry, go on, Kevin.
I was just gonna say it would be the ultimate tribute payment to it if everything in the game came included except the horse
Except the
armor was
horse
the
armor.
only thing you could buy. Yeah.
It would be funny if they kept it at the same price too. How much did it used to cost? Like $2?
Uh, I don't
Sure.
even remember. I do not remember.
That would be a
But it was
good like historical nostalgia thing, is if they included it and it was the same price as it was back in the day, just for the lols. The legendary horse
my
armor.
final thought on that is like I think Oblivion. I think they would be silly not to have Oblivion come out pretty soon. They put so much love into it then that I like they just need to throw it back out there, you know. So and it's got such a big name task or cast. Sorry.
Yeah, it would be a lot of fun to revisit Oblivion. I like the element of Oblivion being more like a high fantasy. Is the way I kind of describe that one. Because Skyrim's a little bit more grounded, as odd as that sounds. But Oblivion, to me, like when I played it, it felt more like a high fantasy world, which
Yeah, fair enough.
which might sound odd. So we got a couple next kind of dots. We're gonna sort of combine these. All Xbox games on cloud gaming. They keep teasing it was supposed to happen years ago. I'm assuming eventually, maybe this will be the year for it, where any game you own you can play on the cloud. The Xbox handheld / Series X refresh. So for the Series X refresh, that's supposed to be the all white, all digital Series X. So not really anything special to talk about there. But we are supposed to be getting an Xbox handheld this year, and then the controller revision is supposed to be a thing too, where they revise the controller and don't make it so clanky and so make it feel better like the DualSense is. So let's put these 3 points all kind of together for like a quick little note thing on the cloud gaming, the Xbox handheld, the Series X, all white, all digital, whatever, and then the controller revision. I think Mitchell is up here.
The only thing that I'm actually super interested in is a controller revision. I don't think there's very many people who would disagree that the DualShock is not the superior controller out of them right now, and like the PlayStation has phenomenal controller. So why does Xbox still have a controller that has stick drift that breaks after 100 hours of use? So yeah, we need a controller revision. That's it. That's the main thing I'm concerned about.
Would you play the handheld, or are you too happy with your Switch?
I would probably get the handheld. I am really liking that Switch. I just bought it like a month ago, and I've known a Nintendo product since the 64.
Yeah.
No, I owned a DS. I did own a DS, so it's been a few years. But this Switch is phenomenal. I've probably got about 200 hours in it. I use it at work all the time. It's nice to play in between calls. So
All right, Kevin, you're up.
I think that's funny, Mitchell, bringing up the stick drift for the controller. Like, it just makes me think of like the stages of your controller life where it's all really nice, and then you kind of wear off all the padding on the joysticks, and then
Oh, the
eventually you're
grip.
playing for like, yeah, you're playing for 3-4 months with the stick drifting, and then eventually it gets to the point where it's just not workable, and you convince yourself to buy another one.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, a controller revision would be interesting. Cloud gaming, kind of funny to see where that's going. It's such a wonderful idea, but even the last couple times I've went back and played, every time I'm playing something on the cloud, it makes me think, man, I got to download this on my Xbox.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a wonderful idea, and if they could get it to the point where it's like almost near flawless, I couldn't see where that wouldn't take over gaming, especially for me. I think I'd play everything on the cloud. I don't know if they could ever get to that point. I don't understand the making of that enough myself. Xbox handheld, I think that'd be really neat. I don't know if I'd get it myself, but I'd be tickled pink to, be like near a bus stop and see a bunch of people on their Xbox handheld. Like,
I don't
Hmm.
like that term. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really like that term you just used, Kevin, of tickle pink. That kind of
oh,
made me uncomfortable.
oh, shucks.
All right, so there we go for those elements: the handheld, the cloud gaming, the refresh, and the controller revision. And then I've got like three other third-party games that I think we're gonna see too at the event. I don't know if we need to really dive into these, but Silksong, Persona 6, and The Division 3, which all of these kind of have a bit more of a historic, kind of like Silksong, I think we last saw was at the Xbox event. Persona 6, Xbox seems to have a pretty good working relationship with them for Game Pass and stuff, so I think we'll see Persona 6 revealed with Xbox. And The Division 3, they canceled Heartland recently, so I would imagine that means The Division 3 is pretty primed for at least a teaser, and Xbox traditionally has the marketing rights to the Division franchise, so I think we'll see that pop up at the event. Let's move on to the Might See category. First up, we have Age of Mythology Retold. And the reason I have this as a Might See is it's supposed to come out this year, at the end of the year. But it's like they typically, for Age of Empires, if you guys aren't familiar, they do their own events for Age of Empires, where they announce like a bunch of DLC. It's a little bit of a smaller showcase, where they might do it at like Gamescom. But I do know that Kevin's pretty excited about Age of Mythology, but I think it's Mitchell's turn. Oh no, Mitchell, you just went, didn't you?
Wait, I just
Yeah,
did one.
Kevin. Age of Mythology Retold.
Ooh, Age of Mythology, a must do. Everything with that game. I don't. Would you call it a series with the Age of Empires? Because it is different, right?
Same
But
franchise.
but it's absolutely incredible. In the Age of Empires, getting like that back with 4, which I played, and it's kind of funny. I always keep going back to 2. I don't know why that one's just gold, but those games are really awesome. In Age of Mythology, you don't hear enough people talking about it, at least for me. And I feel like if we could get that one out again and have people try it, they'd realize it's awesome. It's probably as good, and if not better in different ways than Age of Empires, and I would love to put some hours into that. It would just be cool to get it back again.
Mythology, Mitchell.
I like Age of Empires. It's one of those games that like I feel like I should like more, but it's an enjoyable game. Age of Mythology I never played, but I have watched a crap ton of streaming for it since Age of Mythology Retold was kind of announced, just to see like what the heck is it. fun. It's like I'm looking forward to it. I like real time strategy games a lot, so this is not gonna be any different for me. I'm looking forward to it. So
Yeah.
if we get it announced,
Well, it was announced.
but if we get it if we get more info for on the
Yeah.
showcase.
Because it is supposed to actually release this fall. And if you guys aren't familiar with it, it's basically Age of Empires 2, but with the gods. And it's crazy. Really crazy. Next up, the 2026 console tease. So, the reason I have this under the might see category is when they were doing the Series XS, it was, I believe Phil Spencer teased it 2 years before it came out. Same with the Xbox One X, I think was teased. Well, I think that one was maybe 1 year or 2 years. So, yeah, and they already said they're working on the next console, so they did technically already tease it at the Xbox Apology Tour when they moved all the stuff over to PlayStation earlier in the year. So, that's why I'm putting it under the might see category, is I think they would maybe tease sort of like the spec targets for it, or just kind of start preparing people that it is coming. Because obviously this generation is a wash for Xbox, so they're going to want to move on as fast as they can if they are trying hardware again. And yeah, it's supposed to be 2026 for the next console. Mitchell, you grabbing it in 2026 or are you done?
I'd stick with Xbox. I have no issue. Like I kind of keep outside of the drama. If it's still like I just stick with what I'm used to. Does that mean I'm not gonna get a PlayStation? I'm probably still going to get a PlayStation. I'm not exclusive to any console, right? But I think the Xbox can still come back. Maybe I don't know. It's been 20 years. I'm sure they can do it at some point.
360 forever.
You know what? I still have my 360. We popped it out this past weekend and we played some Gears of War on it. It was good.
You should look at the store, Mitchell. They're doing 3 tiers of sales before they close the store down forever on the 360. You can get...
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah.
Good games out there.
Yeah, there's a couple for like $1 or $2. Yeah, I don't know if you ever played Might and Magic, but that one's kind of neat.
Oh, yes.
All right, Kevin. 2026.
I would get it. I kind of have to agree with Mitchell. I kind of stay for the most part outside of everything that's happening with Xbox. Obviously, I end up hearing a lot about it, though. But I kind of made the switch to PC myself, so that's kind of where I spend most of my time. But yeah, I would probably get an Xbox. I would eventually get a PlayStation as well. I think they're all good, but I would probably out of the consoles end up getting an Xbox first. I don't see me just stopping with Xbox. It's kind of where I've been my whole life. I don't know. Stay loyal to the bitter end, I think.
Oh, there you go. I mean, I talk about it all the time on streams and stuff, so I don't need to go further on it. But yeah, I think we'll see a tease of the next gen console, or we might see it, I guess. The next one is Perfect Dark. So, Perfect Dark I have under the might see category because we don't know. So recently there was news that it was like not shaping up well, and then there was news afterwards being like it is shaping up okay. So that's why it's under the might see category. So I think if we don't see Perfect Dark at this event, it's in trouble. So what they did is they've got like the initiative, which is like a publishing wing basically now, is working with Crystal Dynamics to make this title. So Crystal, they do Tomb Raider. And we're supposed to get like a new Tomb Raider game, which is published by Amazon now. So I don't think so. Supposedly Tomb Raider comes out, and then a year after that, Perfect Dark comes out. So I think we see Tomb Raider this year, and then Perfect Dark comes out the year after in 2025, or it could be 2025 for Tomb Raider and then 2026 for Perfect Dark. But if we don't see Perfect Dark at this event, I think it's in trouble. My thing is Perfect Dark is really easy. She's basically James Bond in the future with a cool alien. Make her smart, make her sexy, make her fun, have her do lots of jokes, but also be like a competent spy, and I think you've got a winning piece. Kevin, Perfect Dark.
I think you actually nailed it. It should actually be a really easy game to make. It's not like there's a lot of complex things with it. You could almost do just another straightforward shooter. You're going through the hallways, baking the enemies as you walk through. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect out of this. You keep hearing about it, and then it disappears into perfect darkness. Yeah.
Hi, Mitchell. Perfect Dark.
It's funny you say Perfect Dark is supposed to be the sexy version of James Bond because like that was Rare's like next big game after the GoldenEye was
Well,
Perfect Dark.
they couldn't get the rights to do another Bond movie or a Bond game.
No,
So
no, which sucks because GoldenEye was phenomenal. But yeah, no, it's you know what I personally was never a big fan of Perfect Dark. I never really played it. I'm not really doesn't really care. Doesn't really matter to me what we decide to do with it.
it's a perfect shooter, the first one. It really is. It's a perfect shooter. I'm not even kidding.
Allegedly.
It's super cool. So, anyways, I hope they nail that one, but we'll have to see. It should not be hard. It's literally you have the guys making Tomb Raider. You just copy and paste the Tomb Raider mechanics into like a Bond thriller, and it's super easy. Like it's it should be like the simplest project in the world. Next up, we have the In Exile Entertainment. So apparently, aside from Clockwork Revolution, they're also working on another game. We don't know what it is. We don't know what it's going to be about. Maybe it's another Wasteland game. Do we ever think about that? Has anyone ever said that it might just be Wasteland 4?
I was kind of wondering because Wasteland 3 came out a fair amount of time ago. It could be like Wasteland 4 could be not likely, but it could be something. So
Could be Wasteland 4. I don't know. I don't think we much need to talk too much about it, but we just know In Exile has another game. The Minecraft spin-off, so apparently they have one more spin-off project that's left. They did Dungeons, they did Legends. I guess Legends wasn't a really big hit because they stopped development on it. They stopped development on Dungeons because that one was basically complete. This one was always supposed to be like a parkour Minecraft spin-off or something, but I don't know. Project Mara, which is from Ninja Theory, which is supposed to be like something into psychology, everything like that. We don't really know anything about it. Obviously, Hellblade 2 comes out tonight or tomorrow. I've got a review of it, guys, coming, so look forward to that when the time ends and the embargoes are up, which is, I think, early in the morning for tomorrow. So I think it's actually 12 hours from now, I think, is when the embargo is over. I think it's 12 hours from now. So there you go. And then State of Decay 3, which I think people will have thoughts on here. So this one's apparently in development trouble, but apparently the development trouble has now been subsided and it's coming along steadily. I always had this one pegged for like 2027. That's why I have it under might see, but I think Mitchell is up. State of Decay 3.
I'm again love the first two, hoping for the third one to be good. I've got way more hours in the first one than I do in the second one, which surprised me because I like the second one way more. So I don't know if there was a timing issue or not. But the State of Decay games are super fun. I would love to see them. I want to see the world kind of build out more, and I do want to see more customizing options possibly for like when you're building your settlement, when you're building your camp and stuff like that. But other than that, nothing too crazy. So
Yeah, I heard it actually might turn into a bit of an MMO concept is what they were hoping to get towards. Kevin, State of Decay 3.
That's actually funny that you mentioned that you got more hours in the first one. I kind of like the first one a little bit more myself, but both State of Decays are great, and a third one would be really neat. The multiplayer aspect's really cool. I have a buddy that I can only get to play sports games other than State of Decay, so a third one's good for me. It would be a good excuse to get together and play. Uh, really, it's a good series. It's just straightforward zombie survival. What else can you say about it, right?
So you're telling me their games are they play sports and State of Decay. That's quite a combo.
Right? What a combination. It's so weird. Yeah.
Sports. Huh, that's honestly fascinating. Sports and State of Decay. I've never heard of that combo in my life. I love that. Quake reboot. So this one, I had a lot of confidence that ID was actually working on a Quake reboot, but I keep hearing more about Doom, and the fact that it was part of the court case makes me feel like it is Doom. And then, well, okay, the company, okay, Machine Games, right? So they're doing Indiana Jones, and in their board for Indiana Jones, they had a teaser saying Quake 6, and it was circled. So I actually think Machine Games, in association with ID, I think they're working on Quake, and I think that Quake reboot might be shown at this event. Finally, so Quake reboot, Kevin, you quaking?
No, I'm quaking hard. No.
Ugh.
Quake, a neat callback to, once again, it's like Doom, one of the original first-person shooters. Quake is really old, even for my taste, though. I haven't put a lot of time into it myself, but a reboot comes out, I'll definitely give that a check out, just for the iconicness of the series, right?
Quaking, Mitchell.
Uh, my big games, you know what? It was a game. It was a series that I just wasn't super interested in. I'd love to see a reboot for it. For some reason, in my head, I had it in my mind that we've gotten multiple reboots for it, and that's not the case. But no, I personally won't be playing it. But I think it'd be a fun thing to have. I think a lot of people are clamoring for Quake, so yeah.
I actually don't think Quake was ever rebooted.
That's what I mean. I think I'm having like some weird Mandela effect in my
because
mind.
because they did like Quake 1 and 2, which is one
Yeah,
story, and then Quake 3 Arena was just like an arena thing. And then
yeah.
Quake 4 actually was like a prequel that took a place during or adjacent to the events of Quake 2. And then Quake Champions was just multiplayer. I actually don't think they've ever rebooted Quake in its whole history. I may be wrong on this, but I'm just trying to think of the different Quake games. I actually don't think it's ever been rebooted.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm. Wolfenstein 3. So this one we were assuming was being developed uh, alongside, because there's this like weird gap of time where Machine Games didn't do anything. So, and then they started working on Indiana Jones, and then they're also apparently working on Quake reboot. So I'm wondering if there's like a Wolfenstein 3 that was like partially worked on, dropped for Indiana Jones, and it might be sitting there waiting to be finished. Wolfie 3 there, Mitchell.
I would love that. That completely 180 from Quake. I would love the see some info on Wolfenstein 3. I have played every single one of the Wolfenstein games, every single one of them, going back to the 90s all the way up to the most recent ones, multiple times. Love them. So would love to see
Wolfie,
that.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Wolfenstein, that's an awesome game series. You run around shooting my favorite villains to shoot. It's everything I love. And yeah, I haven't played a Wolfenstein game that I didn't love or eventually go back and replay again at some point. So a third one would be welcomed.
Wolfie 3. So the next game, this is a weird one, and we heard about it once, and I keep wondering it. So this is a SEAL Team 6 time travel game, which was leaked or basically just told by an NFL draft pick for the Baltimore Ravens randomly during an interview. Kyle Blue Kelly or something. So I guess he wrote this or something, and Xbox is supposed to be making it as an exclusive or something. I think this was like over a year ago. This was like he just said it during his draft or whatever when he was like draft picked. He was just like, "Yeah, I'm making this SEAL Team 6 game with Xbox." I was just like, "What?" So, I don't even know if that's still real or still happening or who's making that or what it is or how it's going to be a thing, but yeah. Unknown SEAL Team 6 game from the Baltimore Ravens draft pick Kyle Blue Kelly.
That is
What
still
the
just
hell?
incredible. You got the NFL draft, all these people watching, thinking, "Oh, how is this guy going to help my team?" Everything's, all NFL in that moment, and this guy like walks up there and uses it as a promo for a game he's making. Like, that is just awesome.
So like is he into like be playing for that team or is he like more into making like writing and stuff? Like I don't get it. That is one of the weirdest leaks I have ever seen in my life. It's just like, and imagine like Xbox sitting there being like, "Hey, we're supposed to keep that a secret for like 10 years, dude," or something like that. And he's just like, "Yeah, man, I'm making this." It's like what? Um,
We talked about it last year. We did talk because
yeah.
I watched the previous stream before we did this stream today just to see like what stuff we talked about in format and stuff. And we did talk about this specific leak last year. And literally there's been no other information. He hasn't leaked anything else. I listen, as much as I love the Baltimore Ravens, I don't think they're going in a video game at all.
Well, no. That's just the team he got drafted for.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the game.
No, it has nothing to do with them, but I couldn't pronounce his name, so I'm just like, as much as I like the team
Yeah.
name.
Alright. And then apparently ZeniMax Online is making a sci-fi MMORPG game, which I'm assuming is Starfield Online. A lot of people keep saying it's a Star Wars game. I don't think it is. I think they're doing Starfield Online. So there we go. Is it Mitchell's turn for Starfield Online? Do we really need to go over this much? We don't really know what this is at all. So
It'd be cool to have a Starfield online game. I again, and Kevin can attest as well. Like I love Elder Scrolls Online. I would definitely invest a lot of time in a Starfield Online game. So
Kevin, I guess you could do a bit on this too. Starfield Online.
That would be interesting. Would show the ambition they have for like the series moving forward, which would be really cool. When I think of the other Bethesda games, what I thought was so interesting was Starfield was like the Elder Scrolls. I played back going to Morrowind and Fallout, obviously the original one. So they had such lore behind them that whenever the next game comes out, I know the universe so well. And I often wondered with my lack of playing of the other Starfield game, well, the first Starfield game, that it was fun, but I almost wondered if it just needs 3, 4 more games to be like, oh yeah, that's the Starfield universe. So to keep making games for it would be really neat. Kind of, and I guess we are in the day and age now where it's just easier to go straight into a multiplayer game after it, but it's neat. It's space, right? You could do a lot with it. I wonder what style they'd go with. Like if it would be more like how 76 tried to keep the way the other Fallouts
Oh.
play, whereas the Elder Scrolls Online, which is really good, but it doesn't play like the other Elder Scroll games, like in terms of combat and that. I almost think it plays closer to like Warcraft, but not quite. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that goes.
Hmm. Next up is the Certain Affinity Project Suitor. So this one, I don't know if Xbox is still handling it or if it was canceled. I remember seeing some signs up that they were like trying to get this like pitched or bought up at like, is it GDC or Gamescom or something at some point? And I thought that was weird. So this is supposed to be like a Monster Hunter like co-op game that's supposed to be an Xbox exclusive. I I don't know if we'll really talk about it. I think we can skip over this one mostly, but I'm not sure if it's canceled or not or still a thing. Next up is the Behavior Interactive Xbox Project. So these are the guys that made, or well, they readily work on Dead by Daylight, which is getting a, what is it, a Dungeons and Dragons expansion soon, and then also a Castlevania expansion soon. So I'm kind of excited about those. But I don't know what the Xbox project is. I don't know if it's still being worked on. But typically they're like a supporting studio, so they make Dead by Daylight, and then they help other, kind of developers and stuff get their games out the door. Did you know they made CNETs back in the day?
wow.
You remember those 360 CNET games?
Yeah.
Yeah, they made at least one of those. The people who make Dead by Daylight made CNET. Okay. Then we have Killer Instinct, which is we're supposed to get like a reboot, a sequel, or something like that at some point. I don't know really if we have much context or if that's happening. Again, this is under the might see category. Arc 2, Vin Diesel, that one we don't know, delayed indefinitely.
I heard there was a lot of behind the scenes drama going on. Like there is some really bad difficulty. So
Yeah,
I'm actually surprised if I would be surprised if that game either drops and it's forgotten about or it gets canceled outright. So
that's supposed to be in 2025 if that happens. It was supposed to be in 2023. The Splinter Cell remake, we might see that one. Ori 3, which is allegedly being handled by a different studio, and Ori 3 is apparently coming. Any thoughts on the last few little dots there, Kevin? Ori, Splinter Cell, Ark, Killer Instinct? Kevin has died. Mitchell, you're up.
Ori 3 would be really good. Ori 1 and 2 are absolutely gorgeous, like heart tugging games, and they sit there in my mind as some of the game, like the first Ori game sits in my mind as being similar to Outer Worlds, where not Outer Wilds, sorry, Outer Wilds, where you want to go in blind and just have a blast and try not to cry. I'm really excited for Ori 3 if it gets announced. So.
That's awesome. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're live again, Kevin. I'm assuming you
Okay,
wanted to
sorry
talk about Splinter Cell.
How did you guess? No way.
I know these things.
Yeah, that's awesome. Splinter Cell. I wondering what it's about. Actually, I should look into that more because are they like redoing the first game, or are they
Like
just
straight
remaking
remake?
a straight remake? Okay, because like the Splinter Cells are absolutely incredible, and I loved that first game. That was actually one of the first games I got on Xbox too, and it's a really cool storyline. Would be really fun to see Sam Fisher back. A lot of questions with that. Like, would it be the same voice actor? I wonder if they'd get someone younger for it. I would hope that would turn into multiple games thereafter. Like, yeah, Splinter Cell's absolutely incredible.
There we go. And then the last dot of the might see category is PlayStation / Nintendo ports of Xbox exclusives. I don't know if they put that at their own showcase, but like, it's possibly a thing. I guess, Kevin, since you got skipped over, you can go first here. Do you think they would show ports of their games on PlayStation, Nintendo at their own event?
That would be absolutely hilarious if they did. It's kind of funny because we were talking about how like kind of keeping out of I like your term, Mitchell, the Xbox drama, but it is such an interesting thing what Xbox is doing lately. We've gone into it that Sea of Thieves is available on PlayStation. I would have never seen that coming. So I don't know if they did release PlayStation and Nintendo ports for Xbox exclusives, it would almost kind of feel to me like they were just becoming a third party gaming source or something like that. Um, I I don't think they will, and I would be a little concerned if they did for what was the future plans of what they were trying to do in general, if they did.
Hi, Mitchell.
Kind of honestly, Kevin has to get out of my head because he's kind of saying the exact same thing. Yeah, no, I can't see there being very much posted towards that. Not very much to say for me on that.
Wouldn't that just be funny though? Like halfway through the event, they're like, "And now you can play these classic Xbox games on PlayStation and Nintendo platforms," and it's like a little sizzle reel of like a bunch of games getting ported over. All right, well, we got that out of the way. We had to include it because I know it was going to be a discussion point. This is the won't see category. The things I don't think you will see at this event. Blade. It's too early for Blade. Mitchell, Blade.
Yeah.
Nope. Kevin, Blade.
Pass. No.
World of Warcraft on console. I think it would be too early for that unless they have it sitting there in the backdrop waiting, but I assume that will be a long-term goal.
It's not going to happen. I refuse to believe it's going to happen. We've had this discussion literally for the last 10 years.
Kevin believes it's going to happen. Kevin, World of Warcraft on console.
Not only do I believe it's going to happen, I say it needs to happen for humanity to move forward. World of Warcraft on console will be bright spots, and yeah, I would put so much time into that. It would be ridiculous.
There you go. Xbox VR because a CMA document noted that Xbox looked at in 2022, but I don't think you'll see Xbox VR. Xbox can't even get their own games out the door. There's no way they're going to do VR. The PSVR 2 is dying. VR itself isn't like a huge thing. I don't see them ever doing Xbox VR, or at least not in the near future. Mitchell,
I mean, the VR I think would just be pretty dang similar to um the Connect. I think it's kind of a thing that's not really worth going into. I think that they'd be smarter to invest a lot more of their research and development into AI and make procedural generated stories and games. But that's me.
Kevin, Xbox VR.
VR is really funny. It's one of those things that ever since we were all kids that it was supposed to take over the gaming world, and still waiting for that day to happen. Uh, I don't know. Why not pursue it a little more? Maybe they somehow work it out. But yeah, I don't think anything's gonna come out of that.
The Connect 3.0, which we always put for just a little bit of a joke. Always love mentioning the good old Connect. The Elder Scrolls 6, I still think it's a little too early to show that one. That's why I put it under the won't see category. Kevin, are we seeing Elder Scrolls 6?
No, I think we're probably a couple years away still from seeing an Elder Scrolls 6 personally, the way that's going. I wonder, and you didn't add it, but maybe they got another Skyrim remaster coming. Have you noticed?
Skyrim Super Definitive Edition.
In the opening scene of the current Skyrim, you actually your dream that you're waking up from is actually the new Skyrim remastered at the very beginning.
That's awesome.
I always thought it would be funny for the Elder Scrolls 6 is if it actually starts with Skyrim, like they've remade Skyrim, and you actually have to play through Skyrim again to get to the Elder Scrolls 6.
It would keep with the theme of Elder Scrolls because every single Elder Scrolls game does start the same. It always starts as you're a prisoner and you're coming to. Like that's how it's always been. So
I just think it would be so funny as if you finally get it downloaded. It's like 100 gigs. You're like, oh, I'm so excited, so excited. And then it's just like the opening of Skyrim's playing, and you're like, the fuck is this? It's like, oh, you're finally awake. And it's like, we need you to play through this to get to Elder Scrolls 6. And you have to play through the whole fucking Skyrim again. And then you get to go to 6. Oh, God. That'd be such a funny thing from Todd Howard there. We got Project Maverick. So this is from People Can Fly. So it's an Xbox exclusive in early development. So that's why we won't see it. But I'm mentioning it because we know it exists because, like, the way they get funding, I think it's Poland, right? Is where People Can Fly is. To get like government funding and stuff, all this stuff is like publicly available, so you can publicly follow the development of this game. And yeah, it just got funding last year, I think it was. So we know that's a thing, but I don't think we'll see it too soon. We don't know what it's going to be. Some other quick ones we won't see: Banjo-Kazooie, Conquer, Fallout 5 because it's too early.
Mm-hmm.
Everwild because we don't know if that's real, and sadly Shadowrun because that got canceled. So that was Project Vananut, and the guy who ran the company or the studio kind of closed the studio, and he like blamed it on his employees or something like that. But like they were having like financial problems and stuff, and blah blah blah. It's like not an employee's fault, but they were working on a new Shadowrun game allegedly. Fuck me, because we're never getting a new Shadowrun game. Yeah. So anyways, that's our Xbox Showcase chat. I kind of want to leave, I guess, just a little final statements and thoughts of the overall thing and everything and all that stuff. Kevin, you can take it off.
For everything mentioned?
Yeah, just a final whatever stuff of the things, you know.
Oh, geez. It has nothing to do with the showcase, but they've made Kingdom Come Deliverance too. No, I'm joking.
I actually am just got it on. It's on Steam, right?
What?
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Is it on Steam or is it an Xbox?
Oh, it'll be on everything.
It'll be on everything. Okay, so then it's on my. That's the one that I added to my wish list recently. So.
Lovely.
He's excited.
But for the showcase, out of everything mentioned, a lot of actual neat stuff to look at, like talking about all the Fallouts, a Fallout 3 remastered we went over, like, would be beautiful. I'm excited for the Call of Duties. I'm very curious to see if they give us finally a definitive date on the Game Pass. Gears and Fable. That kind of warms the heart, makes you think of classic Xbox. So it's just kind of fun to hear those all mentioned. So should be a fun showcase to see.
All right, Mitchell, you're up.
We kind of moved on before I could say this, so I just want to get my very extremely hot take out there that I have repeated every year for the past 5 years. I do think we are going to see Elder Scrolls 6 this year. I do not think it will be very much. I think it'll just be a small teaser, or it'll be like a little discussion, maybe 5 minutes. But I do think we're going to see something from it, because at this point it's starting to get comical that we're not seeing anything from Elder Scrolls 6. So, but other than that, everything's looking really good. Like, I'm obviously very, very, very excited for the possibility of a Fallout 3 remaster, or an Oblivion remaster, or a remake, whatever we go. Avowed looks really, really, really awesome to me. Sorry, I'm just going through my list here. And the Starfield Shattered Space, what we were talking about at the beginning, like, I'm very, very excited for that. So, it'll be fun. Whatever happens, it'll be fun. So I am going to be. I'm not going to be watching the stream until 3 days later, because I'm on a series of night shifts when the stream starts. So wish me luck that I don't get spoilers.
Oh, I'm sure I'll be bothering you and texting you about it when it's happening, as I always do.
Okay.
Outside of that, I am going to be co-streaming the event, I guess, so you guys can watch it alongside me, and I'm sure we'll have a post chat and everything of that stream, and it'll all be covered on the channel, everything like that. I hope you guys enjoyed our discussion for this year. If we can schedule it again, and if Xbox still survives in 2025, I'm sure we'll maybe be back here to organize this again. I hope you guys had fun, and yeah, I think we're about wrapped up on this. Everybody have a great day out there. We'll